Path's chosen ones. The topic I'm going to come today is from a subscriber suggestion. Okay, I want to shout out to that subscriber and say thank you for letting me know the terminology for this type of behavior, and that's reactive abuse. I've always known about it, but I've kind of coined it as like gaslighting and other things. I didn't really know about reactive abuse, but it's kind of given me some closure on understanding it. But I do know a little bit about it. I know quite a bit about it, and I've been through it quite a bit, I should say. That's what I should say. But thank you for that, yeah? And I'll get into the topic, right? But how I want to start this video is I want you to remember all the times that you apologized to the narcissist. And if you still feel guilty about things you've done, you might think they're a scumbag. You might be watching these videos, you think they're trash. You think they're a scumbag, yeah? But there's still certain things that you might feel remorseful for. Because I know as an empath, we've got big hearts and we still feel guilty about certain things that took place, right? But I know, yeah, I want by the end of this video, you're gonna look at them things that you apologize for in a totally different light, okay? And a lot more things. But just on the tip of the iceberg, the things that you apologized for, right? And this reactive abuse, basically, to sum it up, is basically like blame shifting, right? They shift the blame. But the essence and the reason why they operate with reactive abuse, okay, is because they feel trapped and scared, all right? I'm sick of people that promote the narcissist as this fearless individual full of, they destroy everyone in their path and, they destroy everyone and stuff like that. They're scared. They're very scared individuals. And throughout your relationships when you was with these individuals, right, these toxic individuals, these narcissists, right, they'd done reactive abuse on you because they felt scared. They felt cornered, and you had them on something numerous times. And this is what I've mentioned about causing the injuries, because you've done things unconsciously, consciously, but you've caused injuries by doing this, and it causes a brutal injury. So they go for the full reactive abuse pursuit, right? Blame shifting, and they do this to take over and destroy you. And this reactive abuse escalates into severe smear campaigns, escalates into severe abuse of gaslighting and turning people insane, turning people thinking they're crazy. Where the actual term gaslighting comes from, because it comes from that film where they dim the lights, and then the man was making the woman think she's crazy, where they dim the lights. That's where the terminology comes from. You probably know that. But yeah, what they do, right, is you'll have them. Just think of the times you've apologized for things. You have to know this sick individual sat there, soaked up your apologies, your sympathy, not your sympathy, yeah, soaked up your apologies, yeah, your sympathy, soaked up all your remorse, yeah, and regret. And when you're trying to even things out with them, and you're trying to straighten things out with them, and you're trying to, all of that, and they was the ones in the wrong. They was the ones in the wrong the whole time. This could have been about small things, yeah. This could have been about small things to big things, yeah. You know what I mean? Small little incidents or major incidents. And they done this, right, to destroy, and they make you lose your mind. This is why I say, this is why you're still connected through the trauma bond. And the comment, when I read the comment, it come at good timing, because I just done a video about trauma bonding. And this reactive abuse is actually how they trauma bond their victims, because they've loved bombed you. They're doing odd bits of devaluation. This is a form of devaluation as well. They're doing this, but they're also blame shifting, reactive abuse in other words. Yeah, they're blame shifting, and they're causing you to feel in the wrong. They're painting a picture to the world around that you're in the wrong. Yeah, and it becomes very burdensome for the real victim, because the real victim, which is us, is painted with a brush as we're A, B, C, D, E, F, G. We're painted in some other way that's not the truth. And this often can stay, you know? It can stay that way. Like, you're not the victim. Everyone will look at you like you're not the victim. Everyone will look at you like it's your fault. Yeah? So, the reason, as I said at the beginning of this video, the reason why they do this, okay? The reason why they do this is because they're scared. Yeah? You have them, you may have noticed something about their behavior, or you called them out on something where you could have pieced together some clues to work this individual out. You was asleep. You didn't realize what was happening. You thought you was just having a conversation. Okay? So you might have pointed something out to this individual. Like, it could be anything. You pointed something out to them, right? You pointed something out to the individual. Think about your own story. You pointed something out, and it twisted into an argument about how you've done wrong. You know? You've done wrong. Like, it turns into an argument where you've done wrong. And then we find ourselves apologizing to these individuals, and they sit there and soak up the sympathy of it. Yeah? And in reality, it was you caught them out about something. And in my situation, this happened countless times through the course of the relationship. Because the individual, I would call the individual out about stuff. Not call them out, but just, I'm talking about stuff. I'm trying to point something out to them. And arguments would arise. And then my reaction was deemed as, I'm out of control. I'm this, that, the other. Right? My tone's wrong. And then the argument will become about the tone. But they've already shifted the blame from the original point of what it's all about. And the reason they shifted the blame is, as I've mentioned, they feel trapped, they feel cornered, they feel pressured. Okay? They're like little kids. They're like, they're just weirdos. They feel all trapped and pressured and stuff because they're lying and masquerading through life with artificial light. So they shift the blame onto you. Yeah? And then they may even pull out the mobile phone in the argument and that. And because this is causing you frustration, you might even react in a certain way. Yeah? You do even react in a certain way. But it's out of you being persecuted, and it's out of you being shunned and put down. So they'll pull the phone out at an appropriate time to catch you in a moment. And they may even show this information to police. They'll show this information, and they'll create a smear campaign, which is based off the reactive abuse. And why the reactive abuse is so important is because the reactive abuse is how they lure us in. They trauma bond us through this way of doing this. This is not just done once. This is not one instance. Your mind will be in such a brain fog that you can't even probably understand what I'm saying by this point of the video. I don't even think so. And the reason why you don't understand is because it's so well done. It's so well done that you're ingrained in believing you're in the wrong. The reason you're ingrained in believing you're in the wrong. And it's hard for you to break from that spell that they've put on you through this reactive abuse. Yeah? So, you have to understand that most things that you argued about and you apologized for, I want you to think of every single thing that you apologized for. Every single thing. You have to understand that every single thing that you done, that you think you done wrong, was not wrong. Every single thing. They're the liar. They're the one who's fake. They're the one who's a weirdo. They're the one who's shifting the blame onto you to make you think that it's you. Yeah? If you still are in these relationships, or you've got these individuals around your vicinity, they're still doing it to you this very day. Yeah? They're still doing it to you this very day. the major event that happened, well, no, I won't even get to that yet. There was, I mentioned it before. No, I won't say that. There's no point me going over that one again because I've mentioned it before. But every single time I was involved with this individual, right, arguments would start, right? But the argument, if I was wrong, if I was right, I was right, okay? It would be twisted as if I am wrong. It would always be twisted as if I am wrong. And it's not that I'm a sucker and I don't know how to handle myself in a debate, okay? It's not that. Because I can handle myself in a debate, a rational debate, a fair debate, talking it out. I can do that, yeah? But they don't do that at all. They take something you do and they blow it up to a huge amount, right? And it diminishes what you're talking about. It diminishes everything you're talking about. And because we're caring individuals, empathetic individuals, we naturally coincide, if that's the right word, or we go towards what they're talking about. And what they're talking about is how we're persecuting them, is how we're attacking them, is how we're dragging them through the mud, is how we're causing them all this grief, is how we're doing all of this stuff. But the actual trigger and the actual source of the thing was because they were cornered. They were cornered. They shift blame. They blame shifted it onto you, right? And some of these people will phone police on you, yeah. They'll video record you and catch you in a moment, and they'll paint this story to everyone around. Some people is in prison right now from this reactive abuse, and you know what? The person in prison probably thinks, what did I do that for, man? I done wrong. Yeah, and I can talk for this experience because I caught the narcissist out, right, about a lie, okay? And they managed to twist this argument into something else, okay? Then they stopped answering the phone. Then they made it into something else, right? And then they answered the phone and the argument separated from what it was originally about, okay? And then it twisted into how I'm like causing them problems and stuff like that, and I'm doing this, that, the other, and they managed to call police and get me arrested, right? I won't go into too much detail, but they managed to get me arrested. And they done this through the reactive abuse, okay? I was the real victim. I was the real victim in the situation, okay? But they managed to twist it and they managed to smear my name as if I'm something else. So I've got my friends that look at me in a certain way, family members that look at me in a certain way, their family members looking at me in a certain way, everyone looking at me in a certain way. I'm sitting across from police officers. I've got some stupid solicitor or lawyer, if you're in America, whatever you call it, right? Doesn't matter, but you understand, a legal representative. Like, I've got them, like, who's saying to me, oh, this is an uphill battle, you know, in the courts and that. It's an uphill battle. And the person that's described has made me understand now with this reactive abuse, right? So sorry if I sound a bit scrambled, but it was like an epiphany when I found out what reactive abuse is, because I understood what it was, but I never had something to sum it up about. But this happened, like, that was the ending. That was the big finale, right? But this happens on a day-to-day basis with them. I'm talking where it doesn't even get to arguments. They will twist stuff around and blame shift it onto you. You have to understand, you go through serious amounts of this reactive abuse, this blame shifting through the course of the relationship, and you're beaten down and 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 beaten down. yeah, through this. Because you start look through the eyes that you are this. Some of you are sitting home now watching this video and you're still looking through the eyes of if you are this person, yeah? Because they've trauma bonded you to think this way. You have to understand that this putting you down, blame shifting, is causing severe amounts of trauma on yourselves, okay? And this is why I said to you, I want you from this point forward to understand that we can't even wrap our heads around the certain intricacies of the complexity of how they done this on us. Do you understand what I mean? I hope you do, right? It's very complex what they actually done to us, okay? But you have to understand that this is an individual that sat there and done this to you day in, day out. Anytime you had them cornered, we didn't know we had them cornered. We didn't know, but we had them feeling cornered. We had them feeling threatened. We had them drawing and clutching at straws, and they drawed for that last straw, and that last straw that they draw for is the reactive abuse. Because they were cornered about something. We were onto them numerous times, and every time we done this, we caused an injury. We did cause an injury along the way. Every single time we had them cornered, you know, when they felt themselves back into that corner where they have to try and put a spin on things, and they have to blame shift it onto you with their spin on things, right? They always put a spin on things. And I've been saying that in previous videos about how they always put a spin on things. But that spin on things is the reactive abuse. That spin on things is the blame shifting, in other words, okay? And they do this continuously, day in, day out to us. But they're threatened. Every time when we come and start apologizing to them, they sit there and they soak it up. They sit there and know they're wrong. They know they're wrong. Imagine doing that once. You know you're fully wrong, yeah? You know you're fully wrong about something, right? And you're in a relationship, a loving relationship, yeah? Let's just say, yeah, you're in a loving relationship. You know you've done something wrong. And you make the other person feel bad for it. Okay, we done it on one day. Okay, give us the benefit of the doubt. We done it one day. But imagine doing that 100 times a day, 50 times a day, whatever you want to say. Doing that day in, day out. Day in, day out. It's very serious. That's why I put the must watch on this video in the thumbnail. Because it's very serious that someone done this to us. I've always known that they were cornered. That's why they done this. I've known this, right? I've known this. But thank you to the subscriber once again for bringing it to my attention with the reactive abuse. Okay? Because these individuals are doing this day in, day out. Okay? To us. And they're the victim. So you have to do this now. This is where they trauma bonded us from another angle, and they cause this trauma bond. This is you live with the consequences of this abuse now. And you're still looking through the gaze and the eyes of the persecutor. But you were the one that was persecuted. Do you see what I mean? Even now, if you think they're a scumbag, you're past it, you're healed, you're doing all right, you feel like, yeah, I'm all right now. You have to understand that there's numerous things. I'm talking small little things from you went to the shop to buy a bread. You went to the shop to buy a bread. You come back with the wrong bread. But was it the wrong bread? But they twist it and make this about that. And they do all this. And they may even be the one that told you to buy that bread in the first place. But they put such a spin on things and they're gaslighting you to the point that you don't know what bread you bought. And I'm telling you that this happened countless times. And I just use that as an example. It's a pretty rubbish example, yeah? But just get my point, what I'm trying to say. The intricacies and the complexity and the levels of this abuse is catastrophic. The way that they do this is very sadistic and it's very layered. This is a learnt behavior. This is learnt behavior. This is not something that comes naturally to them. I'm sick of some people saying that the narcissist is this individual that's so powerful and they obliterate everything in their way. Because as I said at the beginning of this video, before I got into it kind of deep, they're a cornered animal. That's what they feel like. This is how weird they are. They're a bunch of weirdos. We was merely just saying 1-2 words. You get me? We were saying da-da-da-da-da-da. We were saying something to them. Whatever it might be. Yeah? We were saying something to them. We was expressing ourselves. Okay, about something, and they managed to twist it and discombobulate it and put it into a perspective where we are then apologizing, or even if we didn't apologize, even if we just felt bad, we just felt like we're wrong. Do you get me? We felt like we're wrong. If we felt like we're wrong, I'm telling you, every time, I should have said that at the beginning of the video, but any time that you felt like you was wrong in the relationship, you was actually summoned to this reactive abuse. Every single time, yeah, you're dealing with someone who does this on a daily. You're dealing with someone who does this with every encounter, yeah. They're doing this constantly. You're talking about A, B, and C, yeah. They're spinning it back to Z, yeah, taking it to D, taking it over to E. They're doing all of this trickery, yeah. And wizardry, or whatever you want to call it, yeah, they're doing all of this trickery and becoming the victim. Okay, it is what's that? It's not Hutchinson's. What's that? There's a disease, right? There's a condition when they make themselves sick. Do you know that is a thing? You know what I'm on about, man. Why can't I think of what it's called? Munchausen's by proxy. Munchausen's by proxy. Now, Munchausen's by proxy, right, is actually when someone falsely pretends that someone else is ill, right, or got a disease, okay? Now, we understand that you hear about these stories where a mother has claimed that a child is ill and she's made the child go through numerous surgeries, but she's actually making the child sick and she's doing all of these things, right? Now, Munchausen's by proxy is a very serious condition, right? It's deemed as a very serious disorder, okay? That has very significant effects on the people that are involved, on the person, on the target that is involved, okay? Sorry about that. Has very serious consequences to the person that's involved, okay? But this is the same kind of spectrum, not the spectrum, it's the wrong word. It's the same kind of behavior, okay? It's the same kind of behavior, and understand where I'm getting at. Because I know that they're not giving us an illness, and I know they're not making us sick like what we need medicine for and stuff like that, yeah? Well, they can do in some circumstances, but I mean, it's not like an actual health organ or something, complication or something like that. They're not doing that, right? Okay. But what they are doing, okay, is making you think you're wrong. Now, that making you think you're wrong and you're not the victim, yeah, is actually very severe, yeah? It's actually severe. Now, it's the same tendencies as Munchausen's by proxy. because they're making someone think they're ill. But this person is making someone think they're wrong. They're making someone think they're wrong about the bread that they bought. I'll use that example again. Can't think of another one in a second. But they're the ones that pick the bread or whatever like that. They're making you think that about small things, yeah? But they're also making you think that about things on the daily, constantly, all day, every day, yeah? For years, for decades. Some people have been with these individuals for decades, yeah? Some people have been with these people for 30, 40 years, yeah? Some people have grown old and died with these individuals, yeah? But they do this, okay, every single day of their lives to you. Every single day. And they're functioning with this Munchausen's by proxy is similar to that, because they're making you think that you're wrong. They're making you think you're not the victim. They're denying you treatment that you need and care that you need in that, and condolences that you need in that situation. They're denying you of empathy because they don't have it, but they're denying you of actually coming to understanding terms. They're denying you of actually feeling some kind of reciprocation and some kind of, they're denying you of countless things in this situation just by shifting the blame. Just by shifting the blame, they're denying you of an array of an emotional affection from a myriad of ways. They are denying you emotional stimulation. They're denying you this in a myriad of ways, okay? Now, we're just saying, let's use this example again, because I'm going to use it. Let's just use it again, the bread situation, okay? The bread situation, making out that it was actually your fault, right? When it was theirs, okay? And they do it once. Now, they're withholding you from knowing that you did buy the right bread, okay? They're denying you of that. They're also denying you of the fact that they're blame shifting it onto you, okay? They're denying you of the fact that they're mentally making you think another reality. They're putting you into a delusion, okay? They're also causing your own emotions not to regulate sufficiently. Do you get me? They're causing you not to regulate your emotions sufficiently because your brain, your heart, and all that begins to split. Because you are the victim, right? Your heart knows you're the victim, but your brain's saying another thing. And then your brain also sends messages to your heart. We know that in science. So then your brain comes and sends a message back to your heart, because it's proven in science that the brain sends messages to the heart, and it's not just the heart that sends messages. No, the brain sends messages to the heart, but the heart also sends messages to the brain. Sorry, I said it wrong there. So they're able to affect this sequence that we have within ourselves, right? And they're causing this split. And this is just on one occasion over something small like bread, but the severity of it. Now, when you add into the equation, they're doing this about very serious matters in relationships, very serious matters, yeah, in relationships. Let's just sum it up like that. They're doing it about those two. You get me? They're doing it about those. So they're causing a severe burden upon yourself. Now, as I said at the start, they're only doing this because they feel cornered. That's it. That's all they're doing this for. Because you're causing injuries along the course of the journey. So this is what I say. Everything they're dishing out, yeah, they feel the wrath for. Okay? Because they're dishing this out to you as a response. You get me? In their minds, they're dishing it out as a reaction. It's their defense. It's their defense put in place because they felt cornered. Yeah? So they're putting their defense in place. They think it's their boundaries. They're doing this because they feel persecuted. Now, this is why we can never ever be caught up on these individuals, because they're doing this on a daily basis. They're not in your world. You can never miss the narcissist ever again from this video onwards. You know, I don't miss the narcissist anymore, but since I've made this video, I now have a different outlook on everything. Okay, I already had this outlook, but I didn't have the terminology for it. I knew all of this I knew this in my heart. I knew this. I did know this. I knew this. I said this. I've told people this. I've said this is what happened. But I just summed it up as gaslighting, basically. Yeah, but it's a lot more sinister than that. It's a lot more sinister and slick than that. And as I said, this is a learnt behavior. They practice it and perfect it. Do you see that time when you had them? Like, you see when they tried to shift the blame on you one day? Okay? So it wasn't the bread scenario this time. It was just another situation where they were struggling to ultimately shift the blame onto you. Okay? They were ultimately we're picking out number 2 now. This is just another point. They were struggling to shift the blame onto you. So these injuries were getting very severe in them. Yeah, they was feeling the injuries because they're unable to shift the blame. Okay? But when they managed to fully shift the blame back onto you, right? They had a very close call with getting found out. Not entirely found out, but getting proven wrong about one thing. So the next time they had to try and implicate this reactive abuse onto you, they had to step it up. They had to step up their game. So you have to understand, this person was in secret competition with you because you were unknowingly cornering them on a day-to-day basis. Okay? You were cornering them and they were putting back this reactive abuse. And when you had them hanging in the balance and you had them hanging on the fence, yeah, you nearly had them where they can't make you not the victim. Yeah? Do you understand? They can't make you not the victim. They can't make you so you're winning. They had to step it up. And then when they managed to actually shift blame it and they become the victim, they felt like they won for a moment, but they realized that was a close call. So they perfected this behavior. And this is what I meant by it's a learned behavior. It's a skill. This is what they try and perfect. They're out there trying to perfect things like this, right? And that's why I say they masquerade through life with artificial light. They're trying to perfect behaviors like this reactive abuse, right? To constantly be a victim. Now, why do they want to constantly do this reactive abuse to feel like a victim? Because they're a victim to indirect, unconscious mirroring and us disturbing their toxic ways. Because we're empaths. So when we're doing our regular day, we're just walking about our regular day. We're just saying things on a regular basis. We're not second thinking everything. We're just talking. And this is causing them to feel like a victim and back themselves up in a corner. Yeah? So much so, yeah, that they actually make themselves the victim, inverted commas. And they take the blame, and they shift blame, yeah? And they make us feel, and then they're making us look like we're the poison. But they're doing this because they're pathetic. They're doing this because they're weirdos. They're doing this because they are weirdos. Yeah? You can never be caught up on this individual ever again from this video going forward. Because it's going to take a long time. And what I'm saying in this video is merely only the tip of the iceberg, yeah? But you are the one that now needs to do the work, yeah? And look back at every single time, if you can remember. Every single time you apologized. Every single time you were wrong. We know that they're scumbags. That's why I say a lot of us look at them as scumbags now. We say they done A, B, C, D. They done this to me. They cheated on me. They done this. They done that. Yeah, we say all of that. But there's also times that we apologize to them throughout the relationship, before we awoken to the fact that they was cheating, or before we awoken to the fact that we're dealing with a narcissist. There was countless times that we apologized and we appeased to them. Okay? Numerous times. And every single one of those times, we had this stupid weirdo feeling like they're backed into a corner. Yeah? Feeling like they're trapped. Right? Because we're just ultimately speaking words. Now, who holds the real power in this dynamic? Yes, I am not denying that what happened to us through this reactive abuse is traumatic for us. It's traumatic. It's so demonic, yeah, for them to do this to us. It's very bad. Very, very bad. Yeah? But who holds the real power in the situation? We do. Because every single day, we made them feel small. We made them feel backed in a corner. We made them feel trapped. That they needed to try and put their spin on things. Yeah? And shift blame for them to feel adequate. Every day they done this. Every day they lived it. And then this is why I say to you, never ever get caught up on when they move forward or go with a new supply. And I've talked about how they monkey branch to a dusty new supply, a dusty supply, and low-hanging fruit. They jump onto that, yeah? And then they try and flaunt it in our face and say, look at me. I've gone off and got married. I've gone off and had children. I've gone off and done this, yeah? They try and flaunt it and do all of that through their fake illusion of their social media. But look, you've got to understand, this is merely as well just it's just a reaction to feeling trapped, to the cycle of reactive abuse that they've done, because they felt trapped like a little wimp, yeah? Just because we was talking words. Now, do you see why a chosen one and an empath has such power with words? And I say that, yeah? We have a power over these narcissists. We make them feel contained. We make them feel small. Just with our presence, we make them feel small. That someone needs to go to that form of abuse and gaslighting, this reactive abuse. They need to go to that length on a daily to feel satisfied and to feel sufficed. Yeah? They go to them lengths daily just to feel sufficed. And this is why I say, did they once tell us that they were doing this to us? No. I've had to find out from a comment thanks to a subscriber. Yeah. Did they tell you about it? They didn't tell me about it. And this person done this day in, day out, amongst all the other things that we discussed. Yeah. But we're focusing on this for this moment. They never told us nothing. This is why you can never, ever, ever be caught up on this individual. Because this individual is so shallow, yeah, that they will do this to someone. Constantly. Yeah? You're not just a victim because they cheated on you or hit you or done this or that. Or, do you know what I mean? You're not just a victim because of that. You're a victim through this psychological game. This psychological, sick, twisted, learned behavior that they operate on and perfect, that they got better at, and they've practiced on previous supplies, and they've brought their experience forward to you, and they've used it against you. Yeah, this is what it is. They've done this countless times before. Probably if you knew them back in their younger days, they weren't so good at it. But as they progress through time, they learn more and more and more. And they do it just because they don't feel right in their skin. They don't feel right about who they are. They don't feel right about it. And it's not from a heartfelt moment. This is where we get confused. It's not because they feel guilty about what they do. It's not because anything like that. It's because they're not like us. They know they're not like us. They meet us and they know they're not like us. So they pretend and walk around. Who's really stepping on eggshells now? These lot step on eggshells around us. Yeah? They always say we have to eggshell around the narcissist. No, they eggshell around us. Yeah? We do have to step on eggshells to some degree, but they stepping on... Do you know what? They are stepping on eggshells. If stepping on eggshells is a thing, yeah, they're the ones stepping on eggshells. Because they're the ones that are constantly in this corner where they feel trapped just from our presence, just from what we're talking about, just from how we relay our words, just from how we express ourselves. We express ourselves about something, they have to twist it, they have to put their spin on it and flip it back round to the point where they are a victim, and they're not a victim, we're the victim. They do this so frequently and to such a magnitude. You know what I mean? This is what they do. But this is very calculative behavior, what they've done to us, right? And we need to look back in retrospect and understand that most scenarios, most situations where we were the ones that were blamed, where we are the ones that were apologizing, or where we were the ones that was trying to appease the narcissist, we was actually in the right, and we've been conditioned and brainwashed to the furthest extent possible that made us actually really believe we were the problem. We've been denied compassion. We've been denied being the victim that we are. We've been denied the truth of the matter, yeah, being the true victim of that situation, and we've never been able to grieve that pain. We didn't even know the pain existed because they done such a spin on things through this reactive abuse that we did not know it was happening. Okay, we didn't know it was happening. And to shed a brighter light on that subject, just know that they were cornered day in, day out as well. They were cornered day in, day out with you. You didn't know this was happening. You did not know you was fighting in this war. You thought this person was your loving partner. You did not know that they were operating like this. And that the way they stepped it up and kept trying to perfect this method that they'd done. And they sat there and actually soaked up the apologies. They actually sat there like they're right. And this is why you can never miss them. I made a video earlier about you can never miss the narcissist and about the trauma bond, right? And that you're addicted to the trauma bond, right? And this is one of the ways that they enabled this trauma bond to take place, because they were subtly abusing you. Not even subtly. It's very... yeah, subtly. Yeah, they were subtly abusing you, but to a very high magnitude. This abuse is very, very, very bad, very toxic, and very damaging for us involved. And it's also damaging for them involved, because they're on this continuous cycle of feeling cornered, and then lying and manipulating to the point that they're the victim. And they go through life like this. They live their lives like this. This is what they do. They live their lives for the duration of their lives. This is what they do. And this is why when we're trying to have a normal conversation or trying to talk about normal things, or afterwards, if we was trying to reach out to them and try and talk things through, they're running scared. You have to understand that a lot of times this discard has taken place and they've discarded you. It's because they can't handle being around an empath. They can't handle being around a chosen one. Everyone glorifies the narcissist as they're scared. They were scared. And this doesn't just mean, I'm saying you had them cornered. They felt threatened and they attacked. And this attack that they done was the reactive abuse. They lashed out with a vicious attack. That's a vicious attack. That's what I meant to say when I was saying subtly earlier. But it's a vicious attack what they lashed out with. And they denied you, as I keep saying, they denied you the true reciprocation and the true healing the true necessities that you needed in that situation. They denied you of that. Yeah? So don't ever, come on, like, just look at your own scenario. I bet there's countless times you feel guilty for stuff. You might ruminate on stuff and feel like, oh, I could have done this better, or maybe I've done this, or maybe I shouldn't have said that time. Or they've seen us lash out. Like, the reason why we had frustration or we had this stuff is because we was being denied the truth. They did not let the truth come to the light. Yeah, we was that truth, and they denied it. They denied it, and they abused us. They abused us through this reactive abuse. It's a horrible thing what they done to us, right? It's a very horrible thing what they done to us. Just off our reaction, they abused us. Okay, they abused us. And they done this through a long period of time. So I want you to understand and take some time after this video. Hopefully you're still here. I've gone on very long on this video. But just take some time to look back and trust in what I'm saying, yeah? You have to see that there was countless times that you apologized and they had you on this cycle, yeah? But just know that they was cornered, they felt cornered, they felt threatened, and they felt like they had nowhere to turn apart from lash out at you like a cornered animal. And they just lashed out at you. But it lashed out at you in such a subtle way that you was blissfully unaware that you was actually being manipulated to the highest degree possible, to the point where they were shift blaming and denying you of true reciprocation, denying you of true transparency and openness that a relationship should function on, and truth. They've painted you with a brush. They've done smear campaigns that smeared your name based on these allegations and based on this stuff that was manipulated to the point where they're the victim. And they go around afterwards as they're the victim. And it's sick. It's so sick. But I have been a bit scrambled in this video, so please forgive me, because it struck a chord with me once I realized, this topic of this video, it struck a chord with me. So I do appreciate if you're still here and you're still watching. And please press the like and the subscribe button. And if you do want a one-to-one session, yeah, you can find the details in the description box. But just know, yeah, just look back tonight based on what I've said, and just understand that we had them cornered from the get-go. We had them cornered, yeah? And they felt threatened day in, day out. And it's the reason why they launched this brutal attack on us. But don't blame yourself. It's not your fault, yeah? We were just speaking our truths. We was just speaking our truths. And it enabled them to feel cornered, and they lashed out with this vicious attack on us through this reactive abuse. But anyway, I think I've said enough. I have gone on very long. I do apologize. But yeah, I'll catch you lot all soon. Anyway, thanks for watching. Yeah, peace.